Hey everyone, Catch 'em All Collectibles here. In today's video, I'm going to follow up on last week's video where I recapped the investment returns of my dad and myself investing venture 1 year returns for our pallet. Talked about pallet 1, pallet 2. There is a third pallet. Third pallet's complete. Sword Shield has been doing crazy things. A lot of Sword Shield made it to the pallet recently. But yeah, I'm going to recap the 3 pallets, the cost, the total returns, how old they are, what we're doing, what we're thinking for pallet 4 in the future. This Wednesday, I'm going to be live this Wednesday night with my dad. My dad will be sitting right here beside me. We'll be talking about Pokemon. We'll be talking about whatever. Drop your questions in the comments if you're interested in my dad answering any question for my dad, for myself. But let's get right to the returns. Check out that video I linked above earlier if you want the context. But if not, I'm investing in Pokemon with my dad. Everyone on PokeTube says how good of an investment it is. So why not, right? So you'll see a lot of things here. You'll see a lot of things. You'll see in column B, it is actually, you can't see the column on my screen, but Scarlet Violet era, and then the set. And Sword Shield era, and then the set. How many cases on each pallet of each set? And one thing you'll see, this column here, extra. Note that there's nothing in there. Every single case that I have at this point has been spoken for. Year ago, when the investment pallet 1 was made, I had a lot of excess cases. I had probably 50, 60, I don't even know how many cases excess. Some Sword Shield, some Scarlet Violet. And in the year since, some of those I sold half to my dad onto the pallet 2, pallet 3. Some of those I sold to the market. I consigned them. I sold them privately, however, wherever. But as of today, as of recording, I'm recording this on the 18th of May. I have no cases that are not spoken for. Every single one is gone. And that includes Journey and Surging, these very recent sets. The prices are really high on them. I could be wrong here. It could end up being something that we talk about down the line in the future. But I'm going to do a video soon that is a case study on the history, the launch, the release of a few sets in particular. Shining Fates, Battle Styles, Vivid Voltage. I might blow some people's minds here, but at one point within a week or two of release, those boxes were 150 plus. Vivid Voltage 200 plus. Shining Fates ETBs 100 plus. And a few years later, these days they're kind of bumping up. We'll see them here. But a few years later, they were flat, down even. Some of them. I truly think, I'm open to being wrong. This time it's different. I've heard everything. I truly think Journey Together, Destined Rivals, and Prismatic Evolutions will be cheaper in a year. So I only have 6 cases of those ones on pallet 3. I'm not putting nothing on them. When I started this a year ago with that original video that I'll link above, this whole experiment with the pallets, I always said I'll be putting at least 4 of every set. My goal though is to have personally 10 to 20 cases, which means if it's a pallet split 50-50 with my dad, I'd have to have 20 to 40 cases for me to have 10 to 20, right? So the most cases I have of any set is Obsidian Flames, and we have 16 together, so 8 of them are mine. I've got a little bit peppered in on every pallet. Things are just higher than I would have expected to be at the given time. I always thought I'd be able to come back and get some of these later. Sword Shield, I talked about in that original video that I linked. I didn't go too heavy on Sword Shield in pallet 1 because I was just worried, even though the odds were low, I didn't want pallet 1, my dad's first taste of Pokemon investing, to see any red whatsoever. So there are some like extra items that apparently I need to change the alignment of these titles so that you can see them on your screen. But yeah, these are oddball things that aren't booster cases. So 1080 packs, loose packs of Crown Zenith 151. Those were on pallet 2. We talked about them. Japanese 151 booster boxes. All these different things. I did do a little bit of MetaZoo on them. But yeah, over if I scroll, you can see it's not majorly necessary here because we're just going to look at like the 30,000 foot view, not get in so deep like we did in the last video. But I have a formula that pulls in the TCG player pricing for a box, and then a formula that pulls in the case. And then I take the max. It's like if in 5 years, which I highly doubt will be the case, if in 5 years 6 boxes are more expensive than a case, I'll just rip open the cases and sell the boxes. There's a lot of times early in a set's release where there's not a case premium, cases are actually at a slight discount. And also one thing that happened in the past few weeks, Sword Shield has gone bonkers insane. You'll have times where like which one is this? This is Silver Tempest. Silver Tempest is a $360 box, which if you multiply it by 6, that is 2040. If my math is, no, sorry. 360 times 6 would be 2160 actually. Yeah, I was doing that wrong. 340 times 6 is what I did. But anyways, 2164. Well, the price spikes so quickly and cases sell so infrequently on TCG Player that the market price hasn't caught up. A lot of these prices aren't even fully accurate. If 6 boxes is 2164, I'd wager that I know I'm slightly off screen here, but if 6 loose boxes sells for 2164, I would wager that the actual case would sell for 23, 24, somewhere in that vicinity. I don't care enough to put down to the minute, down to the day, actual case prices for these. Over time, these will get more accurate. I'm just recording this during a week where prices went bonkers and it's not going to be perfect. But yeah, scrolling down, that's pallet 1, 2, 3. The only one that's new to you, the only one that's seeing YouTube for the first time is pallet number 3. It is mostly booster cases. I had all these extra booster cases laying around the garage. So basically all of pallet 3, it used to be in the extra column. And I'm like, Sword Shield is going nuts. So much of me wants to just sell it all into the market. I call up my dad. I'm like, Dad, I want to sell these things. They're going crazy. I feel like in 2030, they could be even crazier than they are today. They most likely will be. But I'm like, do you want to buy half of these? Do you want me to just throw them onto the pallet? And he said, sounds good. So that's what we did. There's also 8 cases of MetaZoo base set booster boxes. I mentioned in pallet 2, I mentioned that I wanted to do more loose pack lots because that's what we sell on the streams, and that's what I'm able to sell at a higher margin. Maybe pallet 4 we'll have more of that. Big things were happening, and I just felt like the entire pallet experiment was born out of the fact that in the past 11 years, everything I've sold too soon. I've sold earlier than I would have wanted. If it wasn't for this pallet experiment, I would probably have less than these 14 base cases. I would probably have less than, especially some of these other ones. I wouldn't have any Surging Sparks cases set back. Actually, I know that this one, there's supposed to be 1 on pallet 3. So I just updated, I just made that more accurate because I accidentally only put 3 on pallet 2. And then thank you Pokemon for restocking. Otherwise, I would have had to go into the open market and buy at a loss. But anyways, what can we get out of this? Never follow in my footsteps just because I'm saying that this is what I'm doing. This is my channel, and the channel follows what I'm doing in my business. So, Dan, why do you have no extra cases of anything? I just think a lot of it's too expensive too quickly. And even if I think, which I do, think it will do well in the future, I think a lot of these things, especially, well, Dust and Rivals, when it comes out, obviously I don't have these in hand yet, but they're already earmarked for the pallet. When it comes out, I'm going to send all of them to Ponga, all of them to PK for live streaming, and I'm just going to auction off, private sale, the rest of them, just like I did with Surging and Journey, because I just don't believe in the prices. I don't think it makes sense. I talked earlier, a couple minutes ago, about how I'm going to do a video. So a couple of my next videos are going to be, we've been here before. We've been here before, Shining Fates, Vivid Voltage, Battle Styles. I'll talk about it in that video, but I truly think these sets will behave similarly. Some people are going to chew me up in the comments. Some people are going to thumbs down, immediately close the video. I don't mean that they're going to go to $90 and stay there for 3 or 4 years like Vivid Voltage and or Battle Styles might have. I just mean that they're going to come down a bunch. I truly think they'll come below MSRP. We'll talk about it next week, though, more in depth. But what does this all add up to? Where does it all lead? Our cost for pallet 1 when we assembled it was $49,850. Total value today. Last week's video, I said it was worth about $108,000. I said that wasn't entirely accurate because a lot of the Sword and Shield had done crazy things. I still don't think it's fully accurate. If I had to guess, those Sword Shield cases probably a couple percent low here and there based on what their actual value is. Probably closer to 125, 130. But this is close enough for today's video. We'll talk about it more in the future. 146% gain in the year since it's been built. Absolutely insane. 50 grand to 122 grand. The cost for pallet 2, 51,619. And the total value today is 101,545. This is how many packs are on them in total. Cool context, nice way to just like frame how much product this is. We rip 4,000 to 5,000 packs a week, every week on Fanatics Live. So just to give you context, and pallet 2 was built. It was built. Some parts of it are 9 months old. Some parts of it are 3 months old. So it's on average about 6 months old, and it's had a 97% gain in those 6 months, which is almost a doubling. And then pallet 3 was literally just finalized. I mean, it started around Surging Sparks was the first stuff hitting pallet 3, and then obviously I went backwards. All my extra cases that have been kicking around for Scarlet Violet, like, let me throw those on there. There wasn't a whole, well, there was 29 of them. And now between all 3 pallets, Sword, Shield, and Scarlet Violet era, there are 129 pallets. If you look at just Sword, Shield, there's 72, and there are 93 for why is that not adding correctly? Oh, I think I added it wrong. So there's 36 Sword Shield cases. There's 36 Sword Shield cases, and there's 93 Scarlet Violet era cases. Next block, I'll kind of play it by ear. I'll play it by feel. If and when we return to a time for pallet 4 where a set comes out and it's widely available for a long time, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, as they had historically been, I might put 20 cases, 30 cases of the first set of whatever the next block is called. I might put those on the pallet. You can see with base, all these ones, I put nearly 10. Well, I put 4 to 10 of all these on pallet 1 because the prices felt more reasonable at the time. And truly, when I put this many on pallet 1, I thought that I was going to be putting the remainder, 10, 20 more cases of each on pallet 2 to get them there. And the prices were just higher than I would have expected. So yeah, this is, the whole experiment was born because I couldn't keep my hands on this stuff for long. And even though I'm doing the pallet thing, I still have less than I want to have. So I need to try to be better, but I'm also not going to throw too much more Destined Rivals on there. If Destined Rivals, if I'm wrong, if I lose the bet to Retro, we bet a Team Rocket case. If I lose the bet to Retro and Destined Rivals never goes under MSRP, all I might have is 4 cases of Destined Rivals. If we get a big restock, if it goes sub MSRP, I might have 10, 20, 30, 40 cases of Destined Rivals between pallet 4, 5, 6. We'll just see where it goes. This is where we are today. Total cost between all 3 pallets, 84,000 for pallet 3, already up 17%. And this pallet is literally, it's a couple weeks old. Total cost between all 3 pallets is 185. Total value between all 3 pallets is 322, which is absolutely insane. You can see, if you did watch video 1, if you go back to hearing me talk about video 1 and why I put on it what I put on it, and then you look at what I put on pallet 3, all these things with so much more gains, so much more, the cheapest box I put on it, I did put on Surging. I put on Surging through Destined at distributor cost because that's the arrangement I made with my dad. But all the Stellar, everything prior, all these things, everything here, the vast majority of the cases on pallet 3 were put at market price. These we paid, well, so I had them already. I sold my dad into them at, in hindsight being what it is, like all these cases that were kicking around, I should have just sold my dad right out of the gate, right? I should have had 50 cases of all these because they were widely available under 100. Hindsight's very easy. Foresight's a little bit more tough. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. What do you think my biggest miss is here? What do you think my biggest gain will be? I know that I don't have the exact percentage gains on this one, but I kind of wanted to do just like a three pallet recap. Pallet 3 though, we went a little bit more aggressive. We went a little bit more expensive, obviously, because we have a fairly high amount of confidence. Even though we're not selling any of this yet, we feel like, hey, we've got some house money. Let's go a little bit bigger. Let's go a little bit bolder on pallet 3. Pallet 4 and into the future, at this point, I'm probably going to get a little bit less bold. Pallet 4, this is Dan guessing today. When I come back and I tell you all what's on pallet 4, maybe I missed the mark entirely. Maybe I did something completely different from what I think. But I think pallet 4 will be, if and when these get cheaper, if and when these go sub MSRP, it will be a sprinkle more of these. if and when somehow, and I don't think it's going to be the case, but if and when we get reprints on SV1 through SV4, SV5, I will add some more of that. If and when the total, once the initial wave goes by, I'm not going to give my dad on all the restocks, because I did just get Surging Sparks. I just got a reprint of Surging Sparks, like 4 cases between my 2 distros. Well, I got those. One distro selling them to me for $200 a box. One distro selling them to me for like $95, $100, whatever roughly they were at launch. So I'm not giving him restocks in that way. But if and when Stellar Crown, say I get a 100 case restock and the market price goes back to 120, 110, I don't think it's going to, but if it did, I might add 10 more cases of Stellar. I might add 20, 30 more cases of Stellar. So Pallet 4 will likely not have anything added. Pallet 3 had a lot of stuff added at 200-ish, if not more. Pallet 4 will probably only be sub $120 boxes. Almost definitely only sub MSRP boxes. Maybe if Twilight gets a big restock. I only have 4 cases of Twilight between all 3 pallets. If Twilight gets a big restock and it comes down to 150, 160, really close to MSRP, maybe I buy a bunch of that. Maybe we'll buy it or take my reprint and put it to the pallet at market price. But I just don't see myself doing it again for any of these other ones. I don't see myself adding more Sword Shield in the future. Maybe I get an email. Maybe somebody's trying to blow them out to me at 80, 85%. Maybe I go for them in that case, but not too many people are selling Sword Shield right now at 80, 85%. Most people are selling it at 90, 95, 100% of market. And I want to do a lot more of this. Pallet 4 and beyond, I want to do a lot more loose packs, black and white. I don't think I'm going to do ETB cases anymore. I don't want to do anything down here anymore. I don't want to do UPC cases. I don't want to do air. I don't want to do air whatsoever. I want to get these numbers, how many packs are on my pallets. I want to have 15,000 plus packs on each pallet moving ahead. I want to have more 1,000 pack lots. 1,080 is just how many fit into the box size that I use. I want to do more loose pack lots, and I might even do 1,000 loose packs of the black and white. I'll probably get some of both of those, but I might also do regular sets. I haven't done it in the future, in the past, because my goal will mostly be, as I said, cases when a set first launches usually are at a slight discount, 95, 98% of what 6 loose boxes would be. So if that's the case, I'm just going to buy cases and put them on the pallet. If that is not the case, though, if cases have more of a premium right out of the gate, maybe I'm adding 1,080 packs of the next block, whatever. Like we had SV base, we had Sword Shield base, whatever the next block's base set is. Maybe I add 4 cases and 4,000 loose packs. I don't really know. I'm just kind of speculating, guessing at what I'm going to do. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Obviously, so far, a very successful endeavor. I plan on continuing to do this. Going back to what I said in Pallet 1, Pallet 2 videos, I talked about $2,000 to $4,000 each per month is what we put into it. When you account for this, my dad's side was coming in with cash. These are things that I'd had already. So technically, I didn't like buy the $42,000 half. It was stuff that I'd already had, but I literally have, I have nothing more as of today. I have nothing more as of today to sell my dad into. I have nothing more extra. The only exception being, if I do it with packs, I've mentioned before, and it's not a made up thing. What is this? 33,500 packs are what me and my dad have together. So if you take my half of that, it's 16,700 packs. Aside from these packs that are on the pallets, I still have 95 to 100,000 packs total. Not going to cover it in today's video, but between what PK has, what Ponga has for the live streams, between what I have on site to kind of replenish them as they need them, I have 100,000 packs total. So I have 80,000+ packs aside from what's on these pallets. Clearly, they are not all I have invested in Pokemon. It's my number's half of this. It's a big number, but I have a lot more. This is a lot of stuff, but it's only a fraction of what I have in its entirety. And my loose packs, I stock everything. I have at least probably 200 packs of every set from Sword Shield base to current. Some of the sets that I have the most of off the top of my head, I have nearly 10,000 packs of Crown Zenith, and I know specialty sets aren't up here. I have 5,000+ packs of 151. I have thousands of packs of Journey Together. Unfortunately, that one slowed down a lot after set release. It didn't sell as quickly. I imagine Destined Rivals will sell better for longer. But yeah, that's today's video. Let me know again down in the comments below if you will not be there Wednesday night live when I'm live with my dad sitting right here. Let me know if you have any questions to ask him. Additionally, I'm gonna make, and maybe this video, maybe in 5 years from now, I'll make a video sequel to the one that I'm gonna make in the coming weeks. But next week, I plan on doing the case study, Shining, Battle Styles, and Vivid Voltage, and how they panned out over time, and how people that invested in them early got wrecked. The same way that I think people who invest early in Destined Rivals, Journey Together, and Prismatic Evolutions might get. And maybe they won't. Maybe I'm wrong. This is just one guy. Don't take any of this as gospel. And then another upcoming video, my 5 biggest greed losses. My 5 biggest times that I got greedy. I didn't sell something when I could have. I diamond handed it too long. Will the pallets, I'm forcing myself to hold these till 2030. Will 2030 Dan look back and say Dan was insane for not taking the money and running in 2025, in 2028? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. What will the price be like? What will the liquidity be like? If I wanted to sell these 3 pallets today, I guarantee that I could find a buyer. Maybe it wouldn't be one buyer, but I could find people willing to pay 90% of market price per pallet. With what's on them, with the values, I guarantee that's the case. I could send out a few emails. I could call a few people. I could post an Instagram story. These things would be gone at 90% of market. Will that be the case in 5 years? But that video, it's going to be probably 2 weeks from now. I'm excited for it. The 5 times that Dan got greedy and he held something way too long, way longer than he should have. And then many times I sold it months, weeks, years later for a lot less than I could have. And will the pallets in 10, 20, 30 years be one of my top 5 greed mistakes? They're not going to be on it today. As of today, they're one of the best 5 things I've done. So those are 2 videos that I talked about coming. This one is also coming too. I think I said I was going to get it to you in May. So maybe I have to bump one of those videos slightly. But yeah, 3 of my next videos: the gray felt hat, greed, and then we've been here before. So if you're looking forward to any of those videos, just give me a rocket emoji. It's a good standard emoji to use in a boom. The pallets are rocketing away into the stratosphere outside of this galaxy. And we're gonna talk about them in a year again. I probably won't do the 6-month update again. So 1 year from now, next May, we will talk about the pallets. If you're watching me on a live stream, feel free to ask me how they're doing. But other than that, they're not going to get a devoted video again. I appreciate you all watching. I will catch you all later.